Everybody, we've got a new time when we come on. We're actually going to come on more often. We've been promising this for so long, but finally somebody decided to start working ahead. We have videos for Rock History Music that are stacked into January now, and by the end of this week we should be into February, where we'll have stuff coming in, 3-4 videos every single day, just as long. They're going to be around 8 minutes long. So let me just turn that off.
So we're just playing around with new time frames of when we should be on. We usually do Friday Night Live, but
we have an autistic 25-year-old who doesn't always allow us to do that.
So it gets a little bit challenging. So sometimes we're not able. So we figure this way, if we come on midweek at around this time, we've all got our coffees locked and loaded.
Yeah. What do you got there? Like we use Nespresso, and this is a cold brew.
Mine's called Nespresso Intenso.
It's really good.
So we thought we'd try coming on midweek and trying to come at a regular time, of course.
Yeah.
Just because it's that much easier for us.
And Danica is, like I said, she's 25. She's autistic. She's not completely nonverbal, but she has her times where she comes home from her day program. She's at this great day program called Chrysalis. It's a godsend for us.
Amazing.
Before we left for New Brunswick from Calgary, she was there. Oh, look, it's snowing. And then after that, they took Danica again.
We were fortunate because there was an opening for her. And so it is nice for us too, because we're able to kind of hit it midday. We're hoping that a lot of our regulars can join us, as always.
Who thought of this, of getting on? Was it you or your mom?
I think it was my mom.
It wasn't me.
Kim. Hi, Kim. Hi.
Hi, Kim.
Foggy Brain. Hello, you two from Illinois. Hi. Nice to have you here with us. I know there's probably... Did you advertise or say that we're going to be coming on? Okay, so now we're...
So people don't know, and I'll put a banner up because we're going to have subjects. But today, going into... This is the busiest traveling day in the U.S. for Thanksgiving.
Yes, a very happy Thanksgiving to you and yours this weekend.
You know, we celebrate both Thanksgiving. We celebrate the Canadian one and the U.S. one. And just that's more tricky to go around.
Sure is.
So what I did this morning is, as I said, I'm working ahead. I finished Jim McCarty of the Yardbirds, and Jim's just released a book. What's it called? I don't have it here. Anyway, just released a new book, and it's about him communicating with Lizzie, his dearly departed wife. And I find that kind of stuff very, very interesting. And as you know, on Rock History Music, if I interview someone who's religious, I want to talk to them about their faith. If they're spiritual, if they're Buddhist, George Benson, Jehovah's Witness. If you want to talk about your faith, you're allowed to. I have no problem with it. And in Jim McCarty's case, the drummer for the Yardbirds, since 1963.
Ooh.
Like Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, he's worked with. And he tells us in this interview series who he liked working with the most. We've got Terry Brown coming up. I'm doing Andy Kim this afternoon because Andy came on camera this time. And you remember what Chase said? Then I think he might have been 17 years old 3 years ago. I kept thinking it was 2, but it's 3 years ago that I interviewed Andy Kim on the phone. Chase was editing my videos, and he came up and he said, Dad, Andy Kim's the coolest guy you ever interviewed. And he did a thing on him. He wrote a thing on him. And he was still in high school at the time. And I told Andy this in the beginning of the interview. And Andy Kim is seriously... Baby I Love You, Sugar Sugar for the Archies, and Rock Me Gently that he had, and he had a lot of other hits too. He's easily one of the most interesting men I have ever interviewed. So I'm going to start chopping that up this afternoon. We'll have part 1 of that coming up tomorrow because we're locking and loading everything.
You have been going crazy.
Nuts.
I'm like,
this is our bedroom.
I try to find you in the morning, like you're up here. Nighttime, you're up here.
Yeah.
Late night, I'm,
Who taught me how to work ahead? Shannon's been trying to teach me this for a long time. I talked to Rick Emmett about work ethic, and it's in his book, Late on the Line. I just talked to Jeff Skunk Baxter, just finished that series, which I think goes into December 31st. Every 3 days, there's a new video with Jeff. Rick Emmett the same way. Jim McCarty the same way. Terry Brown the same way. And starting tomorrow, Andy Kim. We're going to have a lot more, but Shannon's been teaching me. Shannon used to do her homework. You've heard me say this before. She used to do her homework on a Friday night. She's that type of person. She can't stand having something not done. She's got to get it done so she can relax.
Because I always figure that if you don't get stuff done that day, then the next day you've got everything from the day
Piled
before plus that day. So, and yeah, it goes well with my little bit of OCD, so I make it work.
Your OCD works so well.
So I make it work.
Nope.
Your brother Charles is on.
Hey Charles.
Manny,
By the way, Charles, were you able to go to work today? How did it go? Poor Charles is.
Hope you're
Charles,
feeling
we
better.
talked to him yesterday. He had a flu and he lost what 10, 15 pounds.
Yeah,
when you have a flu, and it's good to lose weight. And whenever whenever I'm sick and I lose weight, I go, well, at least it was a benefit. But that's a lot of weight.
But he said he even had the flu shot, so there you go.
Oh.
Manny Nunez, what's up, my peoples from El Paso? Happy Thanksgiving. Christopher Cruz, hi, drinking a strong cup of coffee right now because I need the pick-me-up. So, yes, we all have our share of Java today.
We're really corny. We watch Hallmark Hall of Fame shows. I never watch Hallmark any other time of the year, but at Christmas, we catch up for it. And I have Beverly Elliott's, who's a friend of mine, who's a musician in Vancouver. She used to be in Once Upon a Time, that show, and she's very, very talented. She played the grandma on Once Upon a Time, redhead. And she's in a few movies this year. The one with the autistic boy.
That's right.
That's her in there. Anyway, I got to interview her again. She's such a fun person. Incredibly talented. Are you hot?
I am. I took off my shoes because it's hot up here.
I looked down and see cute little feet.
I don't know if it's the lights. No, these don't give off heat.
They don't give off heat. We have those little round lights, but they're, instead of having the big ones, we have one on each side because I'm voicing. I am going, as you can tell, I'm not revving because of this, because I just started this. I'm revving because there's interviews that I should have put up a long time ago, and we decided, no, we're going to get it done by year's end. We're going to start fresh, even though we'll be into June probably by then, because we can't put 10 videos out every single day. But we have that many interviews in the can, not even counting, where is it? I don't even know where I put it. We have this is not it, but we have a memory stick up here that has 350 interviews from the 80s.
So that is a lot.
Everyone's asking us to put this up, and I'm going, I can't put it up because in 40 days I did 30 interviews. So the only way to get through this, to be able to get these interviews up, is to just work like insane so I can relax over the holidays and start again maybe January 2nd.
And we want to thank everybody who's joining us today. I know it might be a little bit
No
low.
one knows we're
a little
on.
bit low on listeners today because we didn't say that we'd be on today, but we're really hoping to kind of do it on a Wednesday now to connect with all of our people.
Yeah.
This
is a hot time.
Friday Night Live. Is it Wednesday afternoon live?
Well, I don't know what we're going to call it. We're just going to come on. We're going to call it Rock History Music Live. I think we're going to call it that. Can you remember that? Because I'll forget.
Sure. I'll write it down.
What's up with all the people? This is our bedroom. And our bedroom, this is the first house we've had a bedroom in the front. Usually, when you got these kind of like generic, everyone has a house with the garage in front, double garage, and then your bonus room on top of the garage is usually in front. But in this house,
not necessarily. Just
well, you should know. You were a home builder.
It can be either. But our last house, the master was in the back, and now it's in the front.
Is that starting to change? Because Shannon worked for Brookfield Homes, and she did a lot of that.
It really depends on what on what you choose, right? So.
Okay.
Eric, hey, happy American Thanksgiving to you both. It's a very heavy travel time in America this afternoon.
Biggest
one. Of course. So everyone's getting together with their loved ones, and I can't even imagine what it's going to be like on the road. And everyone's going to have turkey hangovers, right?
Yeah. Well,
and then turkey soup and a little more.
Turkey soup, turkey sandwiches.
Turkey casserole.
Hot turkey sandwiches. Oh my God.
So good.
There was a place when we lived in New Brunswick for, what, a year and a half? How long did we live in New Brunswick?
A year and a half.
There was a place just by our house. I kept going, we got to go there. I bet you can always tell a place. I went, that place is going to have the best hot turkey sandwiches. Never got around to it.
Christopher says, of your recent interview segments, I particularly enjoyed the Stuart Copeland and Jeff Baxter snippets.
There's a lot more. Stuart Copeland's finished. The whole interview is on Rock History Book. If you go into any of the Stuart Copeland, always look for this. If we have like the short 8-minute clips, if the full interview is available, especially with the newer videos, it'll be at the very top. The link will be at the very top. So every one of the Stuart Copeland clips we've got, I think there's either 6 or 8, the link to the whole interview is at the very top of the description. So
Eric says, I'm
thank
excited. I'm excited to see Air Supply on January 20th. I think it'll be a good interview for you.
Air Supply. I don't have Air Supply coming up. Yeah, I don't have it. I don't have.
He just thinks it would be a good interview for you.
Oh,
he's gonna go see them in January.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'd interview them. Everyone. Obviously, the rock stuff. Maybe I'm a little hyped on coffee.
Maybe. Just a little.
The rock stuff does the best on this channel. It just does. Like the Rick Emmett's, the Rush, the prog stuff does well. Yes, and Genesis. But I have to. Let me just put this down a little bit. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk to other people that I really like. Here, that's down there.
Eric want to know, what do you think of Geddy Lee's My Effin' Life?
I haven't read it because HarperCollins, the publisher, and nothing against HarperCollins, but they have not even gotten back to me. I wonder why. I mean, we're a fairly big channel. He's talked to a few people, which are, listen, you get a big bang for your buck if you talk to us because we have a lot of subscribers. We work really hard. As Rick Emmett says, whenever I interview him, he doesn't do any other interviews that day. He says, I know if I talk to you for 2.5 hours, I'm not asking that from Geddy Lee, that you're going to have videos that come up every 3-4 days, and I'll get a bigger bang for my buck. Rick does. I've known Rick for years. And anyway, so Rick, I just let Rick know. I says, we have videos of you because you gave me such a long interview, going right till January 2nd, promoting your book, which is now in its second printing. Rick Emmett's, he's done so well, not because of us, because this is even before I talked to him. But I mean, that's what we're talking about here. So I contacted HarperCollins twice, just circling back if Geddy's doing any interviews. And I'm sure they're very busy, but I mean, I'd like to interview Geddy and Alex. I haven't asked Alex, but Andy Curran, who's from Coney Hatch, I know Andy a little bit. Used to work as a suit for Anthem Records for a little while with his own sub label. I asked him. He says, "No, it's the publisher. You have to get hold of the publisher." I did that, but.
Buddy Gott, hi John and Shan. This is the
Hey,
first
buddy.
time I've made one of your live chats. Woohoo! It's nice to be here to watch it live. That's the beauty of this. Changing it to a.
Where is it under Buddy Gott? Go into his, please, folks. Buddy is just an interesting interviewer. I think, Buddy, you've got a lot of talent, and your channel's got it's Buddy, and his last name is spelled. I'm terrible.
Gott.
Gott. Subscribe to his channel. Check him out. You just have a knack for interviewing people. But I was not surprised, Buddy, when I saw you interviewing people, and I started going, "Yeah, that's the guy I know. That's the guy I know." So subscribe to his channel.
Pookie Martinez, John,
Hey.
can you ask Mark Farner if he remembers playing on Hugh Hefner's Playboy After Dark, and Lindsay Wagner was one of the dancers there?
Really?
Ooh.
Lindsay Wagner? Oh, I was so in love with her. God, she's still beautiful.
Eric Melton, nice to see you guys.
Hi.
Eric says, I bought Stuart Copeland's book because of you.
Oh, thank you. It doesn't always happen, but Stuart's has good rapport with everybody. Like, I'd like to say, we were really swinging and having a good time. But if you look at other interviews with Stuart's right there. He is with you. But we had a good jive going on. It was great. I'd like to talk to him again. I thought the series would do better. Nothing against him, but I mean, I remember for us, the lane that does really well is the 70s. I don't know what it is. It's that 70s rock does the best for us. But again, I was going to try to get Andy because Andy was touring, but I didn't get around to it because I was way too busy. Way too busy.
Buddy says, thanks so much for the very kind words. You rock.
Buddy Gott.
Eric says, Stuart is awesome. My wife got to meet him at her job, and I was so envious. LOL.
Wow. I met him. I went to Vancouver Island to visit my children. There's a good flight from Calgary right to Vancouver Island in Nanaimo. And I used to visit my kids all the time and bring them over to Vancouver when I lived there. So I was staying at the time. My ex-wife said, "No, why don't you stay with me and Chris?" Because I get along with them incredibly well. And Shannon gets along with my ex-wife. We all get along. We actually went to Elton John and Billy Joel together, the four of us. So I stayed with her, and she was with me when I met the police when they were promoting Zenyatta Mondatta way back in, 1980, I think it was. That's all I have to say about that.
Eric says, "What are your thoughts on the last Beatles song, Now and Then?"
It's okay. I mean, I saw the 45. Do you see the 45 just with the lettering? I went to pick it up and go, well, maybe I'll buy this memento. It was like $25. And going, I'm sure it's limited edition. I'm not spending $25. It sounds like John Lennon. It sounds like what it is. And I know and listen, I love the Beatles, one of my all-time favorite bands. But this is a song that John Lennon chose not to record or wasn't finished. And I was happy to hear it. It felt really, really good. Coming up on Friday, I'm talking to the last lady to ever interview John Lennon. I've got her book right up on my MacBook here, and we're going to interview her, and I'm going to release it on December 8th, or maybe before, because I want to make this work for her. But she's just released a book. She interviewed John and Yoko. 4 hours later, he was dead. Last interview. Crazy.
Christopher says, "Happy belated birthday, Shannon." Thank you,
Hey.
Christopher. Frank Barbero, good afternoon. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
A very
Thanksgiving.
happy Thanksgiving to you too. Wasn't sure how many people we'd have on with us today because we're a different time zone, a different time that we're going to be on now, and also, like was mentioned, a lot are in traffic right now. Right, they're getting to
in transit.
Yeah,
in
getting
transit.
to their destination for sure. Woo Hat Demon, what in the world is going on with Hall and Oates?
Well, it's sealed. So Daryl Hall is suing John Oates, but it's so as far as we know, it's sealed. I think he wants to dissolve that duo. I'm not sure why. I mean, who was it? Either Kenny Passarelli or Caleb Coy. This is about 4 or 5 years ago. They went from the Elton John band with Roger Pope, the drummer, to the Hall & Oates band. Now, who was it? It's either Caleb. Yeah, it's either Caleb or Kenny. And they said that they also worked, whichever one it was, on Daryl Hall's solo album, but it didn't sell really well. And whoever it was that I interviewed had said that people don't want Daryl Hall, even though most of it's Daryl Hall, right? So they want Hall & Oates. So they keep it Hall & Oates. I don't know. I like Hall & Oates. I have no problem with it. I have no problem with John Oates.
Eric just said the stream is frozen.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't know what to say. It's going to be unfrozen in a second. So are we frozen there? Yeah. Okay. We'll have to wait. It's not saying.
Frozen here too. They all say it's frozen.
Yeah. Okay. Here we are. We come back.
Are we back now?
Well, we're moving.
Okay, perfect. Buddy says, "What are your thoughts on Dolly Parton's Rockstar album? Other than a few songs I'm not too crazy about. I think it's pretty impressive."
I think it's impressive that she's doing it. The headline for the Jeff Skunk Baxter video concerning Dolly Parton is she took an elevator from heaven to come down to work with us. He says she's one of the best musicians that he's ever worked with in his entire life, that he really liked working with her. She was just a wonderful person, but she worked really, really hard. So you gotta love Dolly. It's like Reba McEntire, Dolly Parton. There were some people in the industry that everyone really, really liked that no one has anything bad to say about. In that genre, those two and probably a lot more.
The Dream Times, hi and hi. Hey, hi.
Hey.
Thanks for coming home with us.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hopefully we're not frozen anymore.
Even
Looks
if
like
you're
we're
not
good
from
to
the
go.
U.S., happy Thanksgiving. Why not? Yeah, I'm high on coffee.
Uh-oh. Well, there you go. It's only midday, so you're laughing.
I call her Cookie all the time. One day she told me, she said, "Why do you call me Cookie?" I'm going, "I've been calling you Cookie for like, we've dated since
I
'97.
don't know, but I guess it's just recently that I've kind of
Finally, I
disliked
told
it.
her, I said, "Honey, I've been calling you Cookie a long time. My little Cookie." Anyway.
What do you have coming up next? Well, you've got a few interviews coming up for us this week.
Oh, no. Well, I only have 2 this week. Then I'm done for a while. I don't, unless it's someone really big. I can't afford to, like I have Sass Jordan, who's a Canadian songwriter and singer, powerful voice, that I did like 2 months ago. And I've got to put that up. It's ridiculous. But sometimes with YouTube, that you can imagine.
I have to go back for a second because I'm
Lord.
still laughing over Sass Jordan, who her husband was.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had no idea. That was just that's so funny.
Yeah, Derek, her husband, I was talking to him, and he's the lead singer of the Guess Who, and of course they're being sued by Randy Bachman and Burton Cummings right now. So I'm talking to him, and on his bio he says he's worked with Sass Jordan. I'm going, okay, and I look at him and I say, wow, so and you, Derek, you've worked with Sass Jordan, and he goes, I have, and I'm going, why is he doing that? You know, I started getting a little annoyed. I didn't know what he was doing. And he says, you don't know, do you? I went, no, I don't know. And then he stops, and I'm looking at him going, okay, what's he doing? I don't know what he's doing. And it's rare to have that in interviews, but I went, I'll play along. Okay, you know, you have to be able to laugh at yourself. He says, you might be the only guy in Canada that doesn't know that I'm married to Sass Jordan. And I felt like saying, buddy, 2 hours ago, I didn't know who you were. But it's no disrespect to Derek. He's a great singer. He's really done a great job with the Guess Who. He's a good-looking guy. He was easy to interview, even though he didn't seem to like my shirt. He kept pointing out my colorful shirt, which is sort of a trademark of mine. Not today. And then I interviewed Sass Jordan a week later, and I said, did Derek tell you? She says, oh, you're the guy. I said, I'm the guy. And then everything was okay. I'm going, and then I put it up, and I went, you know, my friends are going, don't put that up. It makes you look like an idiot. I'm going, yeah, it's kind of funny, though. Why not put it up? So I put it up.
Hayes Anderson, hello, Hayes. Eric says maybe some Saga interviews.
Not in the foreseeable future, but with Saga, yeah, I have to catch up before I can look at. I mean, someone just told me you should contact, because we're doing things on Jim Gordon from Derek and the Dominoes, that I should talk to her, because there's a story that she told in her book that he stole part of Layla from her. He took credit for something he didn't do. And I guess she had a lot of trouble with Jim Gordon. And Jim, of course, went on to unalive his mother, because you got to be careful what you say on YouTube. And then went to jail and recently died. So a few people have been saying, why don't you contact Rita Coolidge? And I love Rita Coolidge. I've been a fan of hers forever. And then I thought, maybe, but I've got to catch up. And I love Rita Coolidge so much.
David Ryder, Sting opened for the Grateful Dead 11 times in the summer of '93. If you ever interview him, I'd love to hear a story about those shows.
Yeah. I met him. I met Sting, Stewart, and Andy in 1980, as mentioned a while ago. I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to interview him. There's a part of me that's starting to slow down a little bit and we have to be discerning. With this channel, I love talking to authors. Like,
Yes.
Authors are fun, you know? But Ray Robertson, see that okay? Grateful Dead book. He's coming up. Man, does he know a lot about the Grateful Dead. Amazing. And a nice guy, too. But see, this is what happens when you get these books. They'll send you, as most people probably know, they send you all these press things with it. And after I finish reading, I did read that. I'll usually give notice presents and stuff like that.
Hayes says, I helped set up for Dolly's recent record release party last week.
What was that like?
Yeah, tell us, please, Hayes. What was that
Yeah.
like?
Yeah, I like Dolly Parton's. I'd love to meet her. I'd love to interview her. That's the kind of country I like. The last time I liked country was in the 90s. I thought country in the 90s was still pretty good. It was like kind of driving, great music. And then after that, she likes country now. You like what you like.
I do.
Yeah. But I'm not a big fan of current country at all. My son loves it. Like, went to visit my son in Nanaimo in Vancouver Island. He's got country just cranked up, and I'm going, oh, man, stop playing with it. But he likes it, so it's not killing me. Where is it? Are you finished?
What?
You just all quiet over there.
Oh, no,
That's it.
I'm all cut up over here.
Okay, what time we got? Oh, it's 1:27. Well, we just wanted to come on and just say that from now on at 1 p.m. Mountain Time on Wednesdays, which is noon Pacific, we're going to come on and talk rock. We'll usually have a topic. So today we don't have a topic. We're like chasing our tails.
we usually come on for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on
Mm-hmm.
time frame wise. But we're
Depending on
hoping
who's on.
we're hoping it's going to be a good opportunity for those who don't have a chance to see us on the Friday night and
Yeah.
have an opportunity to see us now.
We just can't do Friday. Friday's a weird time because even though a lot of people are still working right now, our big thing is our daughter. Because sometimes we just can't come on because she's having a bad night.
Or it's just, yeah, and that seems to be.
She has seizures. We have to be in the same room as her, and if we're in the same room as her, what you'll hear in the background is.
And this is so much. But this is so much nicer though because we're just really
We're in our
relaxed,
bedroom.
not having to focus on things around us. He said it was at a location that holds events and can host parties.
Oh,
We just set up the frames and drape the cloth prints.
for Dolly Parton, that is, guys.
Yes, of her over them. Set up for chairs. Every table had guitars attached to them.
Oh, wow. Dolly's a treasure. You know, I think that the fact that she really cares about the people she works with, I'm sure now and then you'll get someone will say if she had a bad day, you'll get one of those. But that would be an anomaly when it comes to Dolly Parton.
Eric says, "When will you write a book?"
I was talking to I was talking to an author. It might have been Ray. I'm not sure. Look at the body language. See?
Come on.
Anyway, I've written a book about a process I was going through with my divorce, and then I let it go. I used to write it in my journal. Write my journal, then I start writing the book, and we'll go back because a psychologist told me once. Remember, computer paper was all stuck together. Remember, it was all like one piece of paper all stuck together, and it'd all be folded when computers first came out. Well, he basically said, "Do you have that teletype kind of paper at your radio station?" Because I've been in radio 40 years. And I went, "Yeah, I do." So I went to the station and I asked, I remember Hal Gardner, who's no longer with us. He was their news director at CFUN in Vancouver. I said, "Hal, can I get this?" He said, "Yeah, whatever, just take some." So I draped it inside my room and I put a line right in the middle of it. And I put the good and bad moments of my life by year on this piece of paper. Then I went, it's kind of interesting. It's a good exercise, by the way, to kind of look. And sometimes you don't want to remember, but I'm a psychology junkie and I like to remember. And I've had a journal for a lot of years. So I did the happy and sad points of my life. And then I went, I should write a book. So I wrote a book, and it was a deep vacuumous hole of emotional need, ready to suck the life right out of you. It was very like, oh my God, it just made me sick. So then I wrote it again after I broke up with another lady in 92. And that one was even worse. And then I told myself I'm going to take a break. Then I realized people don't want to hear about my angst. I think people want to hear about maybe my career, but more than my career, the interviews I've done. So that's kind of where we're leading now. And I think that's what we're going to do with the help of this woman.
Paul Kelcher, have you heard the new Dire Straits live release?
No.
Live at the Rainbow in '79 is awesome. An interview with Guy Fletcher, keyboards from '85, on and produced it. Might be good.
Yeah, love Dire Straits. I remember my friends they didn't like Communique when the second album came out, and I loved Communique. Not as much as the first album, obviously. Communique is like the Don't Look Back of Boston, where it sounded very similar to the first album, Dire Straits, right? Boston. But I still loved it because I love that sound. I love Mark Knopfler. So.
Sonia Flowers, hi you two.
Hey!
Your interview with Link Ray's daughter is priceless.
It's on the Rocky Street
You all
book
have a
channel.
happy Turkey Day.
Thank you.
David Ryder says, "Cool, I'll check the book out," which is the book I believe on the Beautiful Day you had there. MC, wow, love this. I'm in the UK and don't get to join you live. Love your work.
Yay!
Thank you, MC.
Thank you.
Buddy chimes in again. I'm excited about this new time for your live show. Beware, I may become a regular here.
Buddy, you should come on with me one of these days. Actually, I'll text you but you should be a guest on our show. You're such he knows his music. A great chance to have people go over to his channel. I've always been really big on that, and our channel is in general. If there's a YouTuber that I respect, there's a few that contacted me, and I'd go, and a few that just. I'll leave it there. But a few people contacted me, and I've been on a few channels, but Buddy I love. Buddy's a great guy.
The Dream Times D. You showed up on my feed. For once, you two suggested a good channel.
Thank you. I appreciate
Haley
that.
says, I probably found this awesome channel through an interview with the drummer, maybe Simon Phillips, because I've always been a fan.
Yeah, we interviewed Simon. It was quite a long interview, about an hour and a half. I should be. We've got David Page coming up. There's one. David Page and Joseph Williams will be coming up before Christmas. I haven't confirmed with their guy yet, but we did say we'll do something before Christmas for the dates with Journey in the new year. And we're going to go see Journey and Toto in the new year.
Christopher says, while on the subject of books, Spotify recently added dozens of titles for premium subscribers, including more than a few rock titles.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Let me check that out. You mean just obviously audiobooks?
Yeah, the subject of books.
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't know that either.
When I'm editing sometimes, like this morning I was listening to Spotify Christmas music, like nonstop. Shannon's having a shower. She's dancing around, listening to Christmas music while I was editing Jim McCarty of the Yardbirds.
Actually, what I was doing this morning was trying to troubleshoot. We want to put the Christmas tree up on the main level by the fireplace.
Oh, he's not here.
And our dog, our little puppy.
What is he again?
An oscillator. Our little puppy loves to eat everything, so we're trying to figure out how we're going to do this. So maybe we'll just stick John there on guard.
On guard.
Right by the,
I'll be there.
Right by the Christmas tree, so whenever the dog goes near it. So
let me show you a picture.
I'm trying to get a fence or something to put around it. I don't know if I'm going to decorate it. Probably not, because the dog will eat that too. To see if we can kind of still keep it festive.
Okay, here they both are. That's the oscillator, the darker one, and the cockapoo is what's he again?
He's a quarter Cocker Spaniel and 3/4 poodle.
They were just lying down here because we have a system. We get up, we have coffee, and then the Danica comes down, has her breakfast, and during her breakfast, they usually get a call for her ride that brings her to her day program, where there's a lot of special needs kids. The second we get the phone call, I come up here, start editing. The dogs are beside me, because obviously if someone rings the doorbell, the dogs go nuts, which upsets her.
And then he gives me an extra hour to get things kind of settled downstairs before he brings the dogs back. So yes, I'm sure many of you who do have spouses, you do have little systems that you do, and that seems to be working for us. Buddy Gott says, thanks. I'd love to be a guest on your show. I'd love you both to be on mine also.
Yeah, of course. We can hang out. The big thing with YouTube is collaborating with people, though I have not been good at it, like I said. I've done it a few times. Collaborating on YouTube is a good way to not only give back, but meet new people, have new experiences. Just to and some people just want to talk to other people. That's why I started my channel. I just like talking to people. Shannon's the one that told me, she's, you do your evening show in Vancouver. Why don't you just you got at that point I had 30 years of interviews. She said, you have 30 years of interviews. Why don't you put them on YouTube? And I went, no one wants to see my face. No one wants to see me.
Sure they do.
What?
Sure they do.
Well, we have 125 subscribers now, so it's done okay. It's done okay. We could do more to promote the channel, but we do our thing.
And so we'll definitely promote next week for us being on.
Yes.
Midweek.
With the topic.
Yes. So for those of you who joined us today, we'd love to have you join us next week. And we, if you're new to the channel here, we always have a topic that we like to focus on. But today we're just kind of going with it. We're rolling with it today.
Well, you know what? Our big thing with the live videos is I always want to know what you think. We'll present something, but I love your takes on things. I mean, we always encourage people not to be political, because that's not what this show's about. If you want to get politics, there's tons of stuff on YouTube for politics. But and sometimes when artists get heavily political during interviews, I kind of sway away from them, going, guys, that's not what we do here. Not interested. But yeah, I've been playing with this all along.
I've got Renoir.
Yeah.
Yay! I caught it live. Hello from across the pond.
Hey, thanks for joining us. It's been cool to be on at a different time, but we don't have to have an ear and a sort of attention on Danica, worrying about her. And even when Danica comes at after 3 p.m. our time, our driveway is right there, and I always let Shannon know, okay, she's coming. Bring the dogs up here because Danica will go nuts if she hears the dogs. It's really hard on her. She hates babies. She's 25, autistic. She hates hearing a baby cry. It bothers her.
But it's so cute because whenever she comes to the door every single day, usually I have the door open for her to invite her in, but she has to always ring the doorbell.
It's because
she comes to the door.
OCD.
The door is open. I'm like, hi, Danica. Ding. So
she always has to do that.
Little quirky isms, right? We all have isms, right? So there we go.
So the dogs are up here, and they've learned kind of on some days not to bark, but even when they don't bark because of the doorbell, she'll still say, "No barking!" like that.
Gordon Jackson joined us. Hi, Gordon. Hello,
Hi, Gordon.
from Utah. Hey, thanks for joining us today.
I've not visited Utah. I kind of like there's a road I think on the top western northern part of Utah, or it might be on the bottom, that you come into Utah and then you kind of leave Utah. I forget. That's as close to. I mean, I technically was in Utah, but I never really visited Utah. Beautiful red rocks. Are we good?
We are good.
Okay, we're gonna say thank you for joining us. Thanks for all the folks who support us. If you ever want to make a donation, there's a PayPal link at the very top of every one of our videos. Join our Patreon. Man, there's a lot of stuff on our Patreon right now. Lots of stuff. And in the coming months, there are going to be tons of exclusive. The second tier we have on Patreon is exclusive things that will never, ever be on YouTube. It's just idiosyncratic, interesting, quirky stuff that they talk about that I go, no, let's just leave that for the Patreon. The first tier is, I think, $6.99. It's pretty cheap. You go in and you see most of the videos we have before anyone else does, including the podcast. So there you go. There's links to that in the description. But again, like our videos, it makes a difference. Subscribe to our channel. Share them on social media. Maybe not this one because this is like a general talk. But if you find something that's meaty, share it and let people know about our channel. We'd appreciate that.
And we look forward to seeing you again here, same time, next Wednesday.
1 p.m. Mountain, noon Pacific next week. Have yourself, for all our American friends, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
The crazy travel day today. Anyway, love you guys. Take care.
Be safe. Bye.